Oh, the sport's back. Oh, it's back. The UFC saved. It's back. Disregard everything I've said in previous videos about the UFC being dead. Dead in the water. Disregard all of it. Just kidding. Don't disregard it. But this was a great card that definitely breathed some life into the UFC fan base. 100%. Any of us who were getting a little bit bored by what the UFC was putting out, this card delivered big time. Right? Beyond happy for Volkanovski. Paddy Pimblett proved me wrong. We'll get more into that as we go along. And what I want to do is just go briefly over the prelims, early prelims, whatever, and then get more into depth with the later fights on the card, with the main card fights, right? Bryce Mitchell, John Silva, you know what I mean? So let's start off with Nora Cornole versus Haley Cohen. I predicted Nora Cornole would win. She won. Cool. Impressive, I suppose. But Marco Tulio against Trishan Gore. This fight was amazing. Such a sick fight. Trishan Gore is tough as nails, right? Too tough for his own good. He was getting beat up, but landing a few good shots of his own. I think landed a nice left hook that did hurt Tulio. But Marco Tulio was winning, man. He's styled on Trishan Gore. He's banging Norma Dumont. So, good for him, man. He's winning. And he's a serious prospect for middleweight, dude. He was styling on Trishan Gore, just throwing the kitchen sink at him, playing like I play UFC 5. So, respect Marco Tulio. He's an awesome fighter. Great prospect. Sumadarji against Mitch Raposo. I did pick Sumadarji. I thought he would win by decision. Got that one right as well. And I also did pick Marco Tulio to win as well. But this was a weird one because Mitch Raposo was having very little success on the feet and almost winning rounds because of cage control. And I was very much worried that Sumadarji would be robbed. But no, the rightful man did win. Sumadarji was the one landing more distant strikes. Mitch Raposo wasn't really getting a whole lot off of anything and doing nothing with his takedowns. But yeah, split decision once again, and it just shows the discrepancy between certain judges and how they weigh up the criteria, because the criteria is set as it is, impact over everything, right? Impactful strikes, impactful grappling. There was really no impactful grappling taking place, so you have to only take into account the striking, which Sumadarji was superior in. And yeah, he looked good, man. He looked pretty good. Cedric Dumas versus Michael Olegzaychuk, and I picked Dumas against my better judgment. Olegzaychuk beat the shit out of him. Cedric Dumas looked like he didn't want to be in there. He looked worried from the beginning. And I don't even think Michael Olegzaychuk really landed cleanly, and Dumas went down. Maybe he was just looking for a way out. Maybe he was showing up for his show money, I suppose. I'm not too sure. I can't really describe it any other way. It was a strange performance. But then we get into Darren Elkins and Julian Erosa. This is sad, man. Elkins should 100% retire. I don't want to see him take big shots anymore. Erosa just dominated him everywhere the fight went. He was on a different level. He's also at a different stage in his career. He has momentum. Darren Elkins has some momentum a bit, but he's just taking too much damage, man. That's his nickname. So fuck, dude. Like, the damage needs to go. I'm sick of watching him fight. Not because I don't enjoy watching him fight, because I feel bad for the dude. Man, it's daunting. Every single time I watch Darren Elkins get finished, man, it just deflates me. It completely deflates me. Then we have Jim Miller against Chase Hooper, and I thought Chase Hooper would sub Jim Miller here. But it was a very unimpressive performance. He should have, went out there and put on a statement. But, listen, Chase Hooper may have just gained himself a massive fan base with his gooning comment after the fight. I thought it was so stupid. But I know for a fact he gained himself a ridiculous fan base on the internet off the back of those comments there. But then we get Yan Xiaonan, Verna Jandiroba. I thought Yan Xiaonan would be able to do enough on the feet, but Verna, it's like an anaconda in there, man. She has such high-level jiu-jitsu skills. She's like really the only lady besides Shevchenko that I could see potentially beating Weili Zhang if she's able to get Weili to the ground. But Weili is such a phenomenal grappler herself that I'm not sure if Verna will be able to impose that against Weili. But maybe she could, dude. Maybe she could. Dan Ige and Sean Woodson, early stoppage, man. Controversial. Mike Wazowski, he got finished. Should he have been finished? Probably not. I'm sure it could have gone a few more seconds at least. But I have seen worse than that. I don't know if it's as bad as some people are saying it is, but it's also not the greatest look in the world. Like, Sean Woodson was probably on his way to win a decision if it was to go all the way. But then again, man, Dan Ige did what he was supposed to do. He put it on. Sean Woodson got the finish. I picked Sean Woodson, but man, Dan Ige is dangerous at all times, and I'm never mad to see Dan Ige pick up a fucking win. It was fantastic. Oh my God, Nikita Krylov against Dominick Reyes. My boy Dominic, man. I picked him, and I also predicted before 2025 that Dominick Reyes would end the year as champion. And I was not fucking joking. I was not joking. I'm not trying to be a contrarian. I mean this. Dominick Reyes is back. This man is back. What a knockout. One of the knockouts of the year. Completely slept Krylov. So many people were picking against Dominick. This man is on a holy run right now. He is going to reclaim that title. He's going to knock out Ankalaev. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. Dominick Reyes is going to knock out Ankalaev. And it's just as simple as that, because he'll knock out anybody. He fights Alex Pereira, knocking him out too. Dominick Reyes is back. He's better, like he keeps saying. And the man loves Jesus. And I just love this man. Every single time he comes out there, he has bounced back from one of the worst career turns that anyone's ever suffered in the UFC. Think about what he had to go through. Robbed against the GOAT, right, to many people. John Jones, the GOAT. Robbed against him. Should have had a win over him. Should have dethroned him. Should have had the title. And then he goes on a, 3 knockout loss streak against Yair, Prohashka, Jan Blachowicz, Ryan Spann. I think there was another knockout loss in there somewhere as well. And he is now making a resurgence against all the odds. Nobody, after going through what he went through, all those knockouts in a row, he should have been on his Tony Ferguson shit right now. No. His comeback is even more impressive to me than even Volk's comeback, because of what Dominick Reyes had to come back from. This dude is an inspiration. I love him, and I will continue to support Dominick Reyes and pick him in every fight. Even if it goes against logic, I don't care, because I just need to put it out there. Dominick Reyes is going to become champion, as he has always been destined to. This man is the chosen one. I love you, Dominick. Good shit, man. Shit almost brought me to tears, weirdly enough. But then we get into Bryce Mitchell and Sean Silva. Oh man. Bryce Mitchell got toyed with here. He got toyed with so bad by Sean Silva. And I may not be the biggest fan of Sean Silva's antics, but I cannot deny how good this man is. And I said it before, after his last performance against Bagdasarian, I mentioned him as a very likely title challenger in the coming years, 100%. I could see him challenging for the title this year if he stays active. I can honestly see that happening. After a performance like that, he's clearly in the good books of the UFC. He just did everything he wanted to Bryce, and he didn't look like he was even really trying. And it's so weird with John Silva, man. He looks like he's not able to get much off, and then as soon as he wants to, he ends the fight. It doesn't matter where the fight goes. It just does not matter. He finished this fight with ease, subbing Bryce Mitchell with a ninja choke, and he was attacking that thing over and over again. Bryce had no answer for it. He looked kind of gassed after the first round, man. Bryce was just not ready for Jean Silva, and I think a lot of people, including myself, just gave Bryce Mitchell way too much credit for his wrestling, I suppose. Is this dude, Jean Silva, is like a brick wall when it comes to his takedown defense. So maybe it's more of a Jean Silva just being a fantastic sprawling brawler, maybe. Just a fantastic ability to stay on the feet. But he got taken down by Charles Jourdain, so clearly he has implemented some stone wall fucking takedown defense, dude. God damn it. Jean Silva is one scary bastard, and I want to see him against Movsar Evloev for the number 1 contender fight. Because damn, man, I just want to see Jean Silva fight. And, maybe I won't be rooting for him necessarily, but maybe I am, dude, because I appreciate his skill set. The dude is so good. He is so good in there, and he looks strong as fuck. He looks big, dude. He's a big-ass featherweight. Jean Silva's serious. This man is a serious problem. And yeah, I wasn't doubting him before. I can't necessarily say, I won't doubt this man ever again. I wasn't doubting him, but I was more so hoping that Bryce Mitchell would get it done, because it would have been funny. It didn't happen, and it is what it is. Now we have a real, genuine contender, and it objectively is more exciting for Jean Silva to have won that fight. If we're being real, man, like for the landscape of 145, having Jean Silva as a contender is objectively far more exciting than having Bryce Mitchell in the mix there. But then we move on to Yair Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull, and it was a pretty decent performance from Pitbull. I really enjoyed the fight. I thought this was a fantastic fight. But Yair was just so quick, and he looked way bigger in there than Patricio. Patricio had a couple of good moments. He slipped off center line, right hand, left hook behind it, landed a couple of good shots on Yair. Yair spinning recklessly and getting caught. But for the most part, it was all Yair. 30-27 is 100% the way it should have been, and it was. Rightful man won the fight, and now this is the perfect situation. Yair won, right? He cracked his losing streak. Diego Lopez winning streak was cracked. Make Diego Lopez versus Yair. Right, let him settle the beef in the octagon. It makes all the sense in the world. Those two results were perfect to make that fight happen. So it has to happen now, right? Yair Rodriguez, Diego Lopez, let him bang it out. Great performance from Yair. And I think Patricio Pitbull, I'm trying to think of another fight to give him. Maybe like a Josh Emmett. I think Pitbull versus Josh Emmett would make sense if he even stays on the roster. I think he showed promise. He showed that he's still good enough to hang with some top guys, but he might just be too undersized for 145 in the UFC because everyone in the UFC is a fucking weight bully. So yeah, Pitbull, man, he should move down to 135 if it's possible for him. Otherwise, I can see him getting beat up by a lot of 145ers. But yeah, like I said, man, him versus Josh Emmett for me makes a lot of sense. Michael Chandler, Paddy Pimblett. And I made a community post last night. You know, I was pretty amped up after that fight. You know, Paddy Pimblett really surprised me. I didn't give him a shot going into it. I didn't. I disrespected Paddy Pimblett's skills. And listen, I want to point out the fact that his last few wins are against veterans in their late 30s. Okay, so I'm not under any impression that he's somehow some title challenger. No, I don't think so. I still think Paddy Pimblett's striking is poor. I don't think it's that impressive. I think he looked a lot bigger than Michael Chandler in there, and Michael Chandler had no idea what to do because Paddy Pimblett is the epitome of a weight bully. He is. This man is potentially the biggest weight bully at 155 and maybe even in the UFC. If you just look at his frame, look at what he looks like on fight night. This dude is not a 155. I don't understand how he makes the weight. And he beat up Chandler. His striking looked better, it looked improved, but the chin was still way out there and very much there to be exploited, right? His defensive responsibility while throwing shots. I can definitely see him getting cracked. And I mean, I say it every single time he wins a fight. Move the goalposts a little bit, right? He beats Bobby Green. Okay, gets top 15. Okay, I don't think he'll beat any top 10 guys. He beats a top 10 guy. Of course, the most favorable top 10 guy in Michael Chandler. But he beats a top 10 guy now. But can he beat a top 5er? That's the question, right? Can he beat a Dustin Poirier? Can he beat a Justin Gaethje? I believe he's a top 5er. If he's not, can he beat a Max Holloway? Right? Can he beat these dudes? I'm not convinced that he can. Can he beat an Arman? For me, definitely not. Can he beat Islam? Definitely not. But shit, dude, we may actually get an Ilia Topuria, Paddy Pimblett. Maybe that's the fight that should be made. Right? Paddy Pimblett, he honestly was unscathed in this fight. Barely got caught. Chandler did land a couple of nice right hands. But for the most part, unscathed. Maybe we just do Ilia Topuria, Paddy Pimblett, dude. Just for the storyline. Why not? Why not do them as a number one contender fight and then maybe get Islam to fight Arman? See no reason why not. I think that's very exciting. And I think Paddy Pimblett gets chinned by him, but god damn it, this dude seems to have some kind of a DDP factor to him where he just cannot seem to lose. He has all the plot armor in the world, although I would never put him on the same level as DDP as far as skill set. Like honestly, Paddy Pimblett striking, it like when he's letting his hands go, he looks like he's doing cardio kickboxing. But the shit just works for him. But there's no denying that once the fight hits the mat, dude, Paddy Pimblett is as dangerous as anybody at 155. He is seriously a problem on the ground. He is a problem on the ground, especially when he has dominant position, right? But I would say when fighters are willing to offensively wrestle against him, he can have some trouble. But man, when he's on top, man, when he takes the back, he is a crafty individual on the ground. Damn good fighter. But then again, I still don't think he is a champion in the future. I just don't see it. I don't see it, man. But I could be wrong, and Paddy Pimblett has made me look like a bloody fool many times before, so wouldn't even be surprised at this point. But then we move on to the main event, dude. Volkanovski against Diego Lopez. It's enough to make a grown man cry. He beat Father Time. As predicted by your boy. But of course, I don't like to harp too much on my correct predictions. At the end of the day, anyone can predict a fight right or wrong. Who gives a shit? I'm mostly just pleased to see that order has been restored at 145. We have a rightful champion, but the asterisk is there, of course, because he was knocked out by Ilia Topuria, and I believe that he would get knocked out again by Ilia Topuria. But Volk looked so good last night. He looked like his vintage self. He put a real beating on Diego Lopez's face. I was kind of hoping he would attack the body more frequently, but he really wasn't punching to the body. I thought he would mix it up more. But honestly, we don't really see a whole lot of that from Volkanovski nowadays. Like back in the day when he was making his climb up the rankings, we saw him attack the body and approach fights with more of a boxing approach than what we get nowadays. And I wish he would bring that back a bit. Because I feel like if he was digging more left hands to the body, more right hands to the body, we could have even seen him pick up a late finish here against Diego Lopez, because Diego did look like he was fading at some points in this fight, but he was never out of it, dude. He was never out of it. He was tenacious. He was throwing bombs. And like the last couple minutes of this fight was just so epic, man. Volkanovski putting it on him, trying to survive. And this was such a nerve-wracking fight because of the consequence, dude. We saw him get dropped in round 2, but we saw him recover. And then we saw that uppercut in round, 4, I believe, that hurt the eye of Volkanovski. And that moment right there, man, I don't think I breathed. I don't think I exhaled a single time during that entire sequence where Volkanovski was on the retreat for like a solid minute. Similar to Song Yadong and Cejudo when Song Yadong poked the shit out of Cejudo's eye and he was trying to retreat. We saw Volkanovski in retreat mode like that, clearly compromised vision, just planting and throwing against Diego Lopez and landing at a higher clip, if we're being real, with no vision, by the way. So it just shows, man, Volkanovski is so skilled, dude. He is so skilled. I said it. He's very similar to Merab in the sense that, within that void, like that, the space between spaces, whatever the nerdy shit that Demetrius Johnson likes to say, he is so active. Feinting in and out, shoulder feints, hip feints, switch of stances, hand fighting. And he did all of that here to such a beautiful degree. And the way that he was baiting Diego Lopez to throw and miss when he's out of range, making him whiff, man. And taking ridiculous risks. I didn't expect Volkanovski to get, most of his best work done within the pocket. This man would bait Diego Lopez into exchanging with him in the pocket and then would just crack him with a big right overhand and punish Diego for overthrowing some of his shots. This was just such a masterful performance. Masterful. The only moments where Volkanovski looked vulnerable were when he was getting overconfident. He was getting ahead of himself. He starts emoting. And I said that in the breakdown as well. I said it. As long as Volkanovski stayed locked in there, stayed away from all that extra bullshit, like the taunting and all that, getting overconfident, he would stay safe here. And the moments where he got caught were the moments where he was being a little cocky Volk. You know what I mean? So he needs to stay away from that going forward. He needs to stay away from it. But I honestly think after a performance like that, how good he looked, dude. Man, but I gotta say, dude, the chin, the toughness of Diego Lopez is something I've never seen before. He was getting cracked with big shots, and that chin wasn't even moving. Like his face looks like it's chiseled or like fucking sculpted out of stone. Like that face is chiseled, so it's no surprise he has a great chin. But his chin wasn't even moving when he was getting cracked. He was just getting cracked and eating it. No changes in his expression, nothing. Just eating everything that Volkanovski had for him. That's why it was so stressful to watch this fight. Because you have Volkanovski who's clearly levels ahead of this man. But he just would not give up. He would not go down. He would not back down. Nothing could deter Diego Lopez on this night. And that made this fight so exhilarating. Even if it was one-sided for a lot of it, if we're being real, Volkanovski was landing the bulk of the big shots in this fight. He was landing cracking jabs, man. That jab was fast. He has one of the best jabs of all time. 100%. One of the best jabs of all time. Some of the best footwork I've ever seen. Some of the best footwork, 100%. The way that he just mixes it up on guys is so beautiful. He was going for some level changes. To no avail, though. Diego Lopez, some stonewall, a takedown defense last night as well. Beautiful takedown defense. But wow, dude. Legendary battle between these two men. Diego Lopez, without a doubt in my mind, will fight for a title again. There's zero doubt in my mind. And what's to come next for Volkanovski, who knows? My prediction is that Volkanovski will fight Movsar Evloev, probably. It wouldn't be surprising if he fought Movsar Evloev, and I think stylistically that is a great matchup for Volkanovski, because the biggest issue with Volk, of course, is his durability combined with his age. And Movsar Evloev is not really somebody with a lot of pops, not really somebody who can crack like that. And Volkanovski has some elite takedown defense, far better on the feet than Movsar Evloev. I think he destroys Movsar, if I'm being real. I think he beats the shit out of him. But then when we get into fighters like Jean Silva, for example, if Jean Silva was to get the shot against Volkanovski, I would be extremely worried for Volkanovski because that motherfucker can crack. So like I'm worried for Volk against any title challenger who has bombs, right? Whoever can throw bombs, I'm worried for Volk. But someone like Movsar, not one bit worried. Not even a little bit. But god damn, man. What a card. What a night. What a main event. Incredible. It definitely galvanized me as a fan. I'm definitely a lot more positive on the future of the UFC, but that's really just based off of recency bias. Like at the end of the day, this card turned out very well. That does not mean that the UFC is now in a good place. Doesn't mean that one bit. We still need the big fights to be announced. But I just have to give my utmost respect and appreciation for all the fighters on this card for giving us a beautiful event, and especially the two main eventers, because, man, put on one of the most memorable fights I've seen in the recent years, and I'm going to rewatch that fight countless times. And yeah, guys, that does conclude my thoughts on the card, on the main event. Amazing. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below, please. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next one.